in the bacon, in the bacon fat, in the bacon, in the bacon fat, all tastes like bacon, fat, and it all tastes like bacon, in the bacon, in the bacon, in the bacon fat, in the bacon, in the bacon fat, all tastes like bacon, and then you put all tastes like bacon, the mince.
Why are you putting mince?
Because then you've got the girth. That's what you're not getting. That's what you're not getting, Sam. This is what I mean. You've got the That's what you're not getting. That's what you're not getting, Sam. This is what I mean.
Hello. Greetings, my Queechlings of the Imperium. How are we all doing on this blessed Wednesday evening? I'm the Slam King, the Imperial Remembrancer. Welcome to the stream, guys. How's everybody been? What have you all been up to on this Wednesday? How have we all been? Tell me in the chat. Tell me in the incoming comms what we've all been up to. I can't see a bloody thing. There we go. Oh, that's better. That's better. Yo! Fucking hell. Fucking Eggy. Fucking 20 gifted subs. Massive love. Thank you so much. Holy shit. Jesus Christ. We've hit the fucking sub goal. We've hit this month's sub goal. You guys. Fucking hell. Eggy. Massive love, my dude. Thank you so much. Huge love. That means we've also hit a fucking we've also hit a giveaway, 2 giveaways, I think. Have we hit 2 giveaways? I think we've hit 2 giveaways. We've hit 2 giveaways. Fucking amazing. Right, we'll do a double trouble. We'll do double trouble. We'll do 2 giveaways right fucking now. Massive love. Cheers, Eggy. What a ledge. Okay, what numbers have we got? We have got... Oh, we've got 2, like one after the other. We've got 112 and 113. Just so you can see. 112 and 113. Let's open this fucking giveaway right now. All you have to be is a Twitch subscriber, and in the Twitch chat, you've got 5 minutes. We're going to pick 2 winners from this one as well. Exclamation mark raffle in the chat. There we go. Type raffle to join. We're giving 2 away. I'm going to pick 2 winners. Massive love. What an amazing start to the stream. Fucking hell. Thank you so much, Eggy. So, tonight, we have got the finale of Galaxy in Flames. Who will live? Who will die? And what will be left? I opened a poll in the Discord today to see what you thought, who you think would survive. Let's have a look. Let's see. So, Horus himself has 1 vote. So one person thought that Horus will survive. Torgadon has 3 votes. 3 people think Torgadon's going to survive. And Garviel Loken himself has 7 votes. 7 people think Loken's going to survive. So it looks like Loken's the favorite to survive. Snow! Snow! 10 gifted subs. Massive love. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Huge love. Huge love. Thank you so much. Fuck it, we'll pick 3 winners. 160 is a big number. I think that's gotta be 15, hasn't it? That's gotta be 15, surely. Right, let's pick another one. We'll pick 3 winners. We'll pick 3 winners. Exclamation mark raffle in the chat if you want to be in for a chance to win. We're gonna pick 3 fucking winners. Massive love, Snow. Thank you so much. If you're watching on Twitch, type exclamation mark raffle in the chat. We're gonna pick 3 winners. 3 winners for a Slam King logo patch. Exclamation mark raffle. How many have we got in here? We got 2 minutes remaining. If you haven't already entered, enter now. You've got 2 minutes until the raffle closes. Exclamation mark raffle. Let's go, guys. Let's start this with fucking 3 giveaways. Because I'm going to pick 3 of you. Hey, Wash! Amazon cancelled my order of Era of Ruin, the latest Siege of Terror book. Found some random store in Denmark who still had copies. Fucking unreal how few copies Black Library prints. Yeah, it really is. But they do it on purpose. It's FOMO. They do it on purpose. They even do it with box sets, like Games Workshop. They do it with box sets and minis. They make a specific amount to create demand. So people just buy them. Like, straight away. That's literally how they do it. It's FOMO. It's FOMO tactics, innit? So, because they know people will buy them. That's why. And then I guess they're not left with overstock. Do you know what I mean? Shannon, anyone know if there's an update on the new hat arriving from America? It's right here. Look at that bastard, Shannon. Look at it. He's right here. He's fluffy as well. He's like brand new. The other one's been all over the world. Whereas this guy's all fresh and brand new. Look at him. He's beautiful. I love it. I got a fresh new one. As soon as it arrived as well, Loki was like, "Can I wear it?" I was like, "God damn it. Like, let me wear it." When did I get it? I think it came last week. I think it arrived last week. I think it was last week. It came quicker than I thought. Much quicker than I thought. Hey, Tiny Gamer, how you doing? Leeds J, how am I doing? I'm doing fantastic, mate. Thanks for asking. I'm doing really, really good. I'm just excited to get into this book, man. I'm excited to finish this book tonight. Wash, did you watch Ozzy's funeral procession today? I did, yeah. I watched it on my phone. Gotta show respect. Scarlett, like, initially wanted to watch it and then got upset and was like, "I don't want to watch it. It's gonna make me cry." And I was like, "It's okay. You don't have to watch it. I'll watch it on my phone." So, because me, Scarlett, and Loki were watching Invincible. You know, that cartoon on Amazon. We were watching that today, and then the funeral procession started at 1, so I just watched it on my phone. Jesky's fella, we were in bits over that Shed a Tear or 20. Do you know what, right? I have never, ever cried at a celebrity's death apart from this. Like, last week when it happened, obviously Steve told me like right before we went on stream. Like I didn't know, and Steve told me literally just before we went on stream. So it didn't really, because I was in like in the zone getting ready to stream and stuff. It didn't like properly hit me until the next day, and then literally like all day the next day I was just crying. It's well weird over a man I don't know. It's so strange. So yeah, I've just been proper sad. Cats, damn, can Loki handle invincible? I struggled with some of it. It was so grim. Yeah, you can handle that. Bloody hell, he watches all kinds of shit. Like, Loki's fine. You've seen him play Doom and fucking Space Marine and shit. He's not bothered about a bit of blood, Lokes. He's not asked about that. He just doesn't like very scary things. So he keeps trying to tell me, like he keeps like trying to convince me that he's all right and he can handle watching Terrifier. And I was like, dude, you're not watching that till you're like 15, mate. And he was like, why? I can watch it. I don't mind a bit of blood. I was like, yeah, there's a bit of blood, dude. And then there's Terrifier. You're not watching that until you're like 15, mate. Oh yeah, I mean we've watched Spawn as well. You like that? We watched Castlevania. But yeah, he's all right. He's all right with like gore and blood and stuff like that. But I was the same when I was a kid. I was fine with that stuff. But he's just like, but there's some things that I'm just like, nah, dude, you're not watching that. Regardless of how much you tell me that you can. Like, I'm like, nope. Not a chance. Not a cat in hell's chance of you watching that. When he's 15, though, I'll watch all 3 of them with him. It'll be amazing. Right, should we pick some winners? This should be closed now, shouldn't it? Right, okay. Let's pick 3 winners. Okay, winner number 1. Your number will be number 9. So bear that in mind when you message me on Discord. Winner number 1 is Nosset. Nosset, you are winner number 1. You have won number 9. So send me a direct message on Discord with the number 9 in it. Just so I remember that 9 is yours. 9 for Nosset. Congratulations, Nosset. Massive love. Right, okay. This one is for number 112. Okay, so our second winner is Cam. Cam, you have won number 112. Send me a message in Discord with the number 112 on it. And then we'll make sure that one goes to you. And then, for number 113, our third winner is Snow. Snow, you have won 113. So send me a message on Discord with 113 in it, Snow. Massive love. Congratulations to all 3 of our winners, Nosset, Cam, and Snow. Huge love, guys. Send me the direct messages on Discord with your patch number on it. And there we go. There's our 3 winners. Can we get some Steagles in the chat? Some celebratory Steagles. A flock of beautiful Steagles in the chat. Let's get that in. Some Blue Jays in there as well. Sneaking in. Sneaking in. Congratulations, Nosset. Congratulations, Cam. And congratulations, Snow. Well done, guys. Hey, what's that there? Has that just sent a message from me saying 7 times what? What's that in the chat? 7 times Stiegel combo. I didn't type that. That's mental. What does that mean? Is that the Queechy bot? Is that the Queechy bot going mental? What's he doing there? Fucking hell. Fucking Queechy bot. Taking matters into his own hands. The Queechy bot is abominable intelligence. It's forbidden.
Still don't know what that
under the
means.
rules of the
I still don't
Imperium.
like it.
So how far away from another giveaway are we? I reckon 15. I reckon 15. I reckon I might have done an extra giveaway early because I don't know what my maths is. But I reckon 15. Because I think I've done an extra one anyway. So I think I just did an extra one. But we're on 160, so I'm assuming it's got to be in 15, surely. Do you know what I mean? I'm guessing that it's in 15. It'll be at 175. Will be the next giveaway. Because it jumps up, it goes up. It's every 15 subs, isn't it? So we're on 160. So that should be that would work, wouldn't it? That would be right. I have no idea. I'm really shit at maths. I'm so shit at maths. It goes up in 15, so it's every 15. So I'm assuming it'll be at 175 because we're on 160. Should have done one at 165. Ah, it's fine. It's fine. We'll do one at 165 then. We'll do one in another 5 subs. Fuck it. I've done an extra one. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's a celebratory one. It's an extra one because we've just hit the sub goal. Fuck it. Who cares? Hey, we'll do one in 5 then. Martin's got it. Martin's got the quick maths. The next one is in 5. 5 subs. And then we'll do another giveaway. I knew I'd fucked up somewhere along the line. I knew I'd fucked up somewhere. Eggy, good thing in metal music, you only need to count to 4. Yo, Mother of Cats with the gift sub. Yeah! I can't believe how terrible I am at maths. It's so bad. It's not even hard as well. It's just counting to 15. 4 to go until the next giveaway. Fuck me. What comes after 1? 15. 15, I think. I think it's 15. I don't know, though. I get confused. I'm easily confused. There's too many things going on in my mind at once for me to, like, worry about maths. That's mental. Mother of Cats. That was a sub purely to mess up the maths even more. I can count to 4. 4's fine. 4 is fine. I can count 4. 4's all right. Easy. Easy count to 4. No problem. Mother of Cats, a spite sub, so to speak. A troll sub. You sub-trolling me. Fucking hell. Is that where we're at now? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this beautifully trimmed facial hair as well that we've got going on as well. We're all trimmed down now. It was getting too big. It was like down here. It was like down here when I shaved it off today. It had to go. Had to get rid. Right. Guys. Eggy, I missed the COVID beard. The old COVID beard. The viral beard. Lady Dragon, you gotta beat Martin's beard. I can't beat Martin's beard. There's no way. I've not got enough time on this planet to left to fucking beat Martin's beard. It's a massive, glorious beard. And that can't be done. I can't beat that beard. I've not got the hairs. Jeski's fella. Thought you had a trim. Looking smart, dude. Thank you. Thank you. It's all one length. It's nice. It feels nice as well doing that as well. Do you know what I mean? Gore Crusher. Why is using an airbrush so satisfying? Completely off topic, probably. It really is, though. It really is, isn't it? I don't know whether you can see it, but up there, on top of my... You just see there where I'm pointing. Just to the left of the Queechy sign. So that big dark thing there with the towel on it, that's my 3D printer. And on top of that is like an airbrushing like station that I built. You know, so I can airbrush and not get fucking paints everywhere. Well, that's my airbrushing station up there. So I just pull that down and just do my airbrushing on there. I've got one of them turntable cake stands as well. You know, so I can just put the mini on and just spray it and turn the table. Martin, are you saying that I'm old, mate? No, I'm just saying that you had a head start with the beard. You had a head start and you never gave up. Whereas I just give up, like, after 3 months. That's what it is. You're a man of perseverance when it comes to the beard. Whereas I just give up at the 3-month hurdle. That's what I'm getting at, basically. I just don't have the minerals to grow a beard of that magnitude, Martin. That was a lot of alliteration there, wasn't it? A lot of M's. Eggy, speaking of which, can't wait for Sharks and Minnows. Fantastic, yeah, brilliant. Fucking buzzing. I think what we'll do is... I might do that next Wednesday. That might be a next Wednesday stream, because obviously this is the last book. This is the last episode of this book. So what I might do is next Wednesday we'll do the Sharks and Minnows stream. If Nana and Grandad can have the kids, and then the week after we'll pick up with the next book. Eggy, he's secretly buzzing. Oh yeah, fucking buzzing. Can't wait for that. Can't wait to literally watch my worst nightmare. That's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be horrible. I feel sick right now thinking about it. Like, I actually feel sick, like physically sick. Not like I'm gonna puke or anything, but like, you know, like that feeling of like dread and trepidation that you get in your belly when you know something really terrifying is about to happen. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now, basically. It's fucking great. Fucking horrible. Yo! Lady Dragon! 5 gifted subs! Amazing! Thank you so much. Right, we better do another giveaway, haven't we? Before I start. I've got this book in my hand. I've not even started it yet. Right, let's do one more fucking giveaway. Fucking hell. I can't even see. I can't even see with this fucking thing on my head. Right, one moment. Let me dig right into the sack. Get deep in the sack. Massive love, Lady Dragon. Thank you so much. Right, I'll put that there so I can reach it. I can see it with my one eye. Okay, what number have we got here? Ooh, big round number. Number 50. Is that 50 or 150? 50. Number 50, 50. Let's open this giveaway up again. Boom. Giveaway is now open. You've got 5 minutes to enter. Exclamation mark raffle in the Twitch chat. Get it in there. Get it in there. Come on. Let's give one more away before we start this book. Oh, pardon me. Por favor. Bit of German boy there. Bit of Bavarian. They don't call me the Bavarian barbarian for nothing. Do you know what I mean? Oh, shit. What am I doing? I'm pressing loads of different buttons here by accident. Eggy, where's our Blue Jay merch at, Slam King? Maybe one day. Maybe one day. There's loads of designs on that fucking merch store. Gonna have to tidy that merch store up soon, so I might have to retire some old designs. Get ready for Halloween. Maybe get some Halloween designs out for the autumn. Cam's Chicken Burger. Joe Hendry Slam King shirt when I don't want to get sued for putting Joe Hendry on a t-shirt. Hey, Absolute. It's like you're one of my German fellas. I'm German geezer. That's what they call me. The German geezer. The Barbarian. Cam's Chicken Burger. I did it with my old band. You'll be fine. Oh yeah, that's what they all say. That's what they all say. Go Crusher. I'll cook up some Halloween merch designs for you. Amazing. Amazing. Fucking awesome. I've got some ideas. I'll speak to you after the stream. Sir Edward. Slam Creed. Does that mean Mr. Slam War? That's what that means, isn't it? Chaka, Moderator Supreme, how you doing? Did we trim the beard? We did trim the beard. We trimmed it all. It's all one length now. You can see my face. For better or for worse. Shannon, is this costume comfy, Jason? Yeah, it's alright. It's alright. It's fine. I made it out of loads of different bits of scrap and stuff. Like loads of random bits of scrap and stuff like that. And then painted it all in the back garden. Look, it's even got, even on the, I don't know whether you can see, but look, even the eye lenses are red. They're actually red. I took them out of a set of red sunglasses that I found. Ooh, I would love a brew actually, but I've still got a cherry Pepsi Max to get through. But I will take a brew later on. Absolutely. Chaka, so happy to see we reached the sub goal. We did. Everyone's been gifting subs tonight. We've given away, we're on our 4th patch giveaway tonight, which is mental. But yeah, we've hit that sub goal. So next Wednesday, if I can get some babysitting for the old children, we'll do the Sharks and Minnows next Wednesday, hopefully. Shannon, that's why I'm wondering if it's comfy. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's not really uncomfortable or anything. It's just a bit difficult to see, as you can imagine. But it looks cool enough. Like, look at this. Got a little fucking purity seal on there as well. Blessed by the Emperor and the Omnisire. Fake back. It looks fresh and clean. It does. It feels fresh and clean as well. Feels nice. I just get bored with my face. That's what the problem is. I just get bored with my face. So I'll get bored with this and I'll be like, oh, I'm going to grow a beard, or oh, I'm going to grow a mustache. And then I'll do that. And then 3 months down the line, I'll get bored of that. And then I'll be like, right, I'm going to shave it all off. Snow, who needs depth perception when you're one with the machine spirit? Exactly, I'm blessed. The flesh is weak. Chaka, will you be sat behind the Slam Queen screaming? I would imagine so, yeah. I would imagine so. Like, I already feel like a massive, like, feeling of existential dread. Because I know what the game is, and it's fucking awful for me. Like, do you know what I mean? Trooper, praise the Omnisire. Praise him. Praise indeed. Por favor. Oh, entries have stopped for the giveaway. We can no longer enter. Should we pick one last winner and then we'll get stuck into this book, because it's a hell of a couple of chapters. Right, so this is for number 50. We're going to pick a winner in 3, 2, 1. Jeski's fella. Jeski's fella, you have won number 50. Massive love. Congratulations, Jeski's fella. Huge love. Send me a message on Discord with the number 50. And then I'll get this sent out to you just so I know that 50 is yours. Can we get some Steagles in the chat for Jeski's fella? Congratulations, dude. Number 50, mate. Send us a message with 50 in it. Because I will forget. There we go. Get them Steagles in the chat. Flock of celebratory Steagles for Jeski's fella. Going on my jacket for Bloodstock next week. Amazing. Well, I'll get all these patches that have been won in giveaways. I'll get these all posted on Friday. So they should be with you within a couple of days if you're in the UK, and within, I think it may be a week or something if I send them internationally. But yeah, congratulations, Jeski's fella. Massive love. Okay, so that means that the next giveaway will be at 180. There we go. See, now my maths is mathing. Now we're all good. Now we've got maths. Do you know what I mean? Simple, easy, quick maths. Right. Should have stopped procrastinating. Should I get into what's about to happen? Are we ready? Get comfortable, guys. Because this is a hell of a 2 chapters. So, let's jump in. This is Galaxy in Flames, the finale. Chapter 16. Enemy Within. The Eightfold Path. Honor must be satisfied. Apothecary Vaydon fought to save Casto's life. The upper half of the warrior's armor had been removed, and his bare torso was disfigured by a gory wound. Flaps of skin and chunks of muscle blown aside like the petals of a bloody flower by an exploding bolt round. "Pressure!" said Vaydon, as he flicked over the settings on his Narthesium gauntlet. Scalpels and syringes cycled as Brother Maithridon, an Emperor's Children Astartes who had lost a hand in the earlier fighting and served as Vaydon's assistant, kept pressure on the wound. Casto bucked underneath him, his teeth gritted against pain that would kill anyone but an Astartes. Vaydon selected a syringe and pushed it into Casto's neck. The vial mounted on the gauntlet emptied, pumping Casto's system with stimulants to keep his heart forcing blood around his ruptured organs. Casto shook, nearly snapping the needle. "Hold him still!" snapped Vaydon. "Yes," said a voice behind them. "Hold him still. It will make it easier to kill him." Vaydon's head snapped up, and he saw a warrior clad in the armor of an Emperor's Children Lord Commander. He carried an enormous hammer, purple arcs of energy playing around its massive head. Behind the warrior, Vaydon could see a score of Emperor's Children in purple and gold finery, their armor sheened with lapping powder and oil. Instantly, he knew that these were no loyalists, and felt a cold hand clutch at his chest as he saw that they were undone. "Who are you?" demanded Vaydon, though he knew the answer already. "I am your death, traitor," said Eidolon, swinging his hammer and crushing Vaydon's skull with one blow. Hundreds of Emperor's children streamed into the palace from the east, on a tide of fire and blood. They fell upon the wounded first, Eidolon himself butchering those who lay waiting for Vadon's ministrations, taking particular relish in killing the loyalist Emperor's children he found there. The warriors of his chapter swarmed through the palace around him, the defenders discovering to their horror that their flank had somehow been turned, and that more and more of the traitors were pouring into the palace. Within moments, the last battle had begun. The loyalists turned from their defenses and faced the Emperor's children. Assault Marines' jump packs gunned them across ruined domes to crash into Eidolon's assault units. Heavy weapons troopers and scout snipers amongst the ruined battlements shot down into the enemy, swapping tremendous volleys of fire across the shattered domes. It was a battle without lines or direction, as the fighting spilled into the heart of the Precentor's palace. Each Astartes became an army of his own, as all order broke down and every warrior fought alone against the enemies that surrounded him. Emperor's children jet bikes screamed insanely through the precincts of the palace and ripped crazed circuits around the domes, spraying fire into the Astartes battling below them. Dreadnoughts tore up chunks of fallen masonry with their mighty fists and hurled them at the loyalists holding the barricades against which so many of their foes had died only a short while before. Everything was swirling madness, horror, and destruction, with Eidolon at the center of it, swinging his hammer and killing all who came near him as he led his perfect warriors deeper into the heart of the defenses. Luke Cedere, with his blonde hair and smirking grin, looked completely out of place among the rusting industrial spires of the Coral City. Beside him, Surgar Targost, captain of the 7th Company, seemed far more at home, his older, darker skin and heavy fur cloak more in keeping with a murdered world. Cedere stood on top of a rusting slab of fallen machinery before thousands of sons of Horus arrayed for war. War paint was fresh on their breastplates, and new banners dedicated to the warrior lodges flapped in the wind. "Sons of Horus!" bellowed Cedere, his voice brimming with the confidence that came to him so easily. "For too long we have waited for our brother legions to open the gate to us, so we can put the doubters and the feeble-minded to the sword. At last, the hour has come. Lord Commander Eidolon has broken the siege, and the time has come to show the legions how the sons of Horus fight." The warriors cheered, and the lodge banners were raised high, displaying the facets of the beliefs underpinning the lodge philosophies. A brazen claw reached down from the sky to crush a world in its fist. A black star shone 8 rays of death upon a horde of enemies, and a great winged beast with 2 heads stood resplendent on a mountain of corpses. Images from beyond, conjured by the words of Davenite priests who could look into the warp. They displayed the Sons of Horus' allegiance to the powers their Warmaster embraced. "The enemy is in disarray!" shouted Cedere over the cheering. "We will fall upon them and sweep them away! You know your duty, Sons of Horus, and you all know that the paths you have followed have led you towards this day. For here we destroy the last vestiges of the old crusade and march towards the future!" Cedere's confidence was infectious, and he knew they were ready. Targost stepped forwards and raised his hands. He bore the rank of lodge captain himself, privy to the secrets of the Davenite ways, and as much a holy man as a commander. He opened his mouth and unleashed a stream of brutal syllables, guttural and dark. The tongue of Davin wrought into a prayer of victory and blood. Sadani has followed. Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much. The sons of Horus answered the prayer, their voices raised in a relentless chant that echoed around the dead spires of the Coral City. And when the prayers were done, the sons of Horus marched to war. Fire stormed around Tarvitz. Emperor's children Terminators raked the central dome with fire, and the sounds of brutal hand-to-hand combat came from within the shattered gallery. Tarvitz ducked and ran as bolter fire kicked up fragments around him, sliding into cover beside Brother Solothan of Squad Necesse. Solothan and about 30 loyalist Emperor's children were pinned down behind a great fallen column, a few lunar wolves among them. "What in the Emperor's name's happened?" shouted Tarvitz. "How did they get in?" "I don't know, sir," replied Solothan. "They came from the east." "We should have had some warning," said Tarvitz. "That's Lucius's sector. Have you seen him at all?" "Lucius?" asked Solothan. "No, he must have fallen." Tarvitz shook his head. "Not likely. I have to find him." "We can't hold out here," said Solothan. "We have to pull back and we won't be able to wait for you." Tarvitz nodded, but he knew that he had to try and find Lucius, even if it was just to recover his body. He doubted Lucius could ever really die, but knew that amid this carnage, anything was possible. "Very well," said Tarvitz. "Go. Fall back in good order to the inner domes and the temple. The barricade's there. Go, and don't wait for me." He put his head briefly over the pillar and fired his bolter, kicking a burst of shots towards Eidolon's Emperor's children, swarming all over the far side of the dome. More covering fire sprayed from his warriors' guns as they began falling back by squads. The dome between him and his goal was littered with bodies, some of them chewed into unrecognizable sprays of torn flesh. He waited until his warriors had put enough distance between them and the enemy, and broke from cover. Bolter shots tore up the ground beside him, and he rolled into the cover of a fallen pillar, crawling as fast as he could to reach the passageway that led from the dome and curved around its columned circumference towards the east wing of the Precentor's palace. Lucius was somewhere in these ruins, and Tarvitz had to find him. Loken ducked and threw himself to the floor, skidding along the fire-blackened tiles of the plaza. The palace loomed above him, whirling as Loken spun onto his back and fired up at the closest World Eater. One shot caught the warrior in the leg, and he collapsed in a roaring heap. Torgodon leapt upon him, plunging his sword into the traitor's back. Loken climbed to his feet as more fire stuttered across the plaza. He tried to get a bearing on the enemy among the heaps of the dead and the jagged slabs of marble sticking up from the edges of shell craters, but it was impossible. The plaza between the chaos of the palace and the dark mass of the city was infested with World Eaters, charging forwards to exploit the breach made by the Emperor's children. "There's a whole squad out here," said Torgodon, wrenching his sword from the World Eater. "We're right in the middle of them." "Then we keep going," said Loken. Back on his feet, he reloaded his bolter as they hurried through the wreckage and charnel heaps, scanning the darkness for movement. Torgodon kept close behind him, sweeping his bolter between chunks of tiling or fallen masonry. Fire snapped around them, and the sounds of battle coming from the palace became ever more terrible, the war cries and explosions tearing through the violent night. "Down!" yelled Torgodon, as a burst of plasma fire lanced from the darkness. Loken threw himself to the ground as the searing bolt flashed past him and bored a hole into a slab of fallen stone behind him. A dark shape came at him, and Loken saw the flash of a blade, bringing his bolter up in an instinctive block. He felt chain blade teeth grinding against the metal of his gun and kicked out at his attacker's groin. The World Eater pivoted away from the blow easily, turning to smash Torghadan to the ground with the butt of his chain axe. Torghadan's attack gave Loken a chance to regain his feet, and he threw aside the ruined bolter to draw his own sword. Torghadan wrestled with another World Eater on the ground, but his friend would have to fend for himself, as Loken saw that his opponent was a captain, and not just any captain, but one of the World Eater's best. "Khan!" said Loken as the warrior attacked. Khan paused in his attack, and for the briefest moment, Loken saw the noble warrior he had spoken with in the Museum of Conquest, before something else swamped it again. Something that had twisted Khan's face with hatred. That second was enough for Loken, allowing him to dodge back behind a fan of broken stone jutting from the edge of a crater. Bullets still carved through the air, and somewhere, beyond his sight, Torghadan was fighting his own battle. But Loken could not worry about that now. "What happened, Khan?" cried Loken. "What did they turn you into?" Khan screamed an incoherent bellow of rage and leapt towards him with his axe held high. Loken braced his stance and brought his blade up to catch Khan's axe as it slashed towards him, and the two warriors clashed in a desperate battle of strength. "Khan!" said Loken through gritted teeth, as the World Eater forced the chain axe whirling teeth towards his face. "This is not the man I knew! What have you become?" As their eyes met, Loken saw Khan's soul and despaired. He saw the warrior who had sworn oaths of brotherhood and pledged himself to the crusade, as he himself had done. The warrior who had seen the terrors and tragedies of the crusade, as well as its victories. And he saw the dark madness that had swamped that in bloodshed and betrayals yet to be enacted. "I am the Eightfold Path!" snapped Khan, his every word punctuated by a froth of blood. "No!" shouted Loken, pushing the World Eater away. "It doesn't have to be this way!" "It does," said Khan. "There is no other way of the path. We must always go further." The humanity drained from Khan's face, and Loken knew that the World Eater was truly gone, and that only in death would this battle end. Loken backed away, fending off a flurry of blows from Khan's axe until he was forced back against a slab of rubble. His foe's axe buried itself in the stone beside him, and Loken slammed the pommel of his sword into Khan's head. Khan rode the blow and smashed his forehead into Loken's face, grabbing his sword arm and wrestling him to the ground. They struggled in the mud like animals, Khan trying to grind Loken's face into the shattered stone, and Loken trying to throw him off. Loken rolled onto his back as he heard the rumble of an engine like an earthquake, and the glare of floodlights stabbed out and threw Khan's outline into the silhouette. Knowing what was coming, Loken hammered his fist into Khan's face over and over again, pushing him upright with a hand clasped around his neck. The World Eater struggled in Loken's grip as the light grew stronger and the roaring form of a land raider crested the ridge of rubble behind them like a monster rising from the deep. Loken felt the huge impact as the Land Raider's dozer blade slammed into Khan, the sharpened prongs at its base punching through the World Eater's chest. He released Khan's body and rolled to the edge of the crater as the Land Raider rose up, carrying the struggling Khan with it. The mighty tank crashed back down, and Loken pressed his body into the mud as it ground over him, the roaring of its engine passing inches above him. Then it was over. The tank rumbled onwards, carrying the impaled World Eater before it like some gory trophy. Tanks were all around him, the eye of Horus glaring from their armoured hulls, and Loken recognised the livery they were painted in. The Sons of Horus. For a moment, Loken just stared at the force surging towards the palace. Gunfire flared as they drove towards their prize. A hand reached down and grabbed Loken, dragging him battered and bloody into cover from the guns of the tanks. He looked up and saw Torghadan, similarly mauled by the encounter with the World Eaters. Torghadan nodded in the direction of the Land Raider. Was that?
Khan,
Nodded Loken.
he's gone.
Dead?
Maybe. I don't know.
Torghadan looked up at the Sons of Horus spear-tip driving for the palace. I think even Tarvis might have trouble holding that palace now.
Then we have to worry.
Yeah. Stay low, and let's keep out of any more trouble, said Torghadan. Well, unless Abaddon and Little Horus aren't challenging enough on their own.
Saul will make them pay for every piece of rubble they capture,
said Loken, pulling himself painfully to his feet. Khan had hurt him, but not so much that he couldn't fight.
For his sake, let's make that count for something.
The two friends forged through the rubble once again, towards the Macaron Basilica, where lay one last chance of a victory on Isstvan III. The sounds of battle echoed from all around him, and Tarvis hugged the shadows as he made his careful way through the ruins of the east wing of the palace. Squads of Emperor's children swarmed through the palace grounds, sweeping through the shattered domes and gunfire-riddled rooms as they plunged the knife of their attack into the heart of the defences. Here and there he saw squad markings he recognised, and had to fight the ingrained urge to call out to them. But these warriors were the enemy, and there would be no brotherly embrace or camaraderie welcome were they to discover him. The very obsessiveness of their attack was working in Tarvitz's favour, as these warriors possessed the same single-mindedness as Eidolon, fixated on the prize of the palace, rather than the proper battlefield awareness. For once, Eidolon's flaws were working in his favour, thought Tarvitz, as he ghosted through the strobe-lit wasteland of the palace.
You're gonna need to tighten up discipline, Eidolon, he whispered. Or someone's gonna make you pay.
The eastern sectors he had assigned Lucius and his men to watch over were bombed-out ruins. The frescoes burned from the walls by the firestorm, and the mighty statue gardens pulverized by constant shelling and the battles that had raged furiously over the past months. To have held out this long was a miracle in itself, and Tarvitz was not blind enough to try and fool himself into thinking that it could last much longer. He saw dozens of bodies and checked every one for a sign that the swordsman had fallen. Each body was a warrior he knew, a warrior who had followed him into battle at the palace and trusted that he could lead them to victory. Each set of eyes accused him of their death, but he knew that there was nothing more he could have done. The further eastward he went, the less he encountered the invading Emperor's children, their attack pushing into the centre of the Precentor's palace rather than spreading out to capture its entirety. Trust Eidolon to go for the glory rather than the standard battlefield practice.
Give me 100 Space Marines and I would punish your arrogance, thought Tarvitz.
Even as the thought occurred to him, a slow smile spread across his face.
He had 100 Space Marines. True, they were engaged in battle. But if any force of warriors could disengage from battle in good order and hand over to a friendly force in the middle of a desperate firefight, it was the Emperor's children. He crouched in the shadow of a fallen statue and opened a vox-channel. "Solathan," he hissed. "Can you hear me?" Static washed from the vox bead in his ear, and he cursed at the idea of his plan being undone by something as trivial as a failure of communications.
"I hear you, Captain, but we're a little busy right now,"
said Solathan's voice. "Understood," said Tarvitz. "But I have new orders for you. Disengage from the fight and hand over to the Lunar Wolves. Let them take the brunt of the fighting and gather as many warriors as you can rally to you. Then converge on my position."
"Sir?"
"Take the eastern passages along the Servant's Wing. That should bring you to me without too much trouble. We have an opportunity to hurt these bastards, Solathan, so I need you to get here with all possible speed."
"Understood, sir,"
said Solathan, signing off. Tarvitz froze as he heard a voice say, "It won't do you any good, Saul. The Precentor's palace is as good as lost. Even you should be able to see that." He looked up and saw Lucius standing in the center of the dome in front of him, his shimmering sword in one hand and a shard of broken glass in the other. He raised the glass to his face and sliced its razor edge along his cheek, drawing a line of blood from his skin that dripped to the dome's floor. "Lucius," said Tarvitz, rising to his feet and entering the dome to meet the swordsman. "I thought you were dead." Bright starlight filled the dome, and Tarvitz saw it was filled with the corpses of Emperor's children. Not traitors, but loyalists. And he could see that not one had fallen to a gunshot wound, but had been carved up by a powerful, edged weapon. These warriors had been cut apart, and a horrible suspicion began to form in his mind. "Dead?" laughed Lucius. "Me? Remember what Loken said to me when I humbled him in the practice cages?" Wary now, Tarvitz nodded. "Yeah. He said there was someone out there who could beat you." "And do you remember what I told him?" "Yes," replied Tarvitz, sliding his hand to the hilt of his broadsword. "You said, 'Not in this lifetime,' didn't you?" "You have a good memory," said Lucius, dropping the bloody shard of glass to the floor. "So who's that latest scar for?" asked Tarvitz. Lucius smiled, though there was no warmth to it. "It's for you, Saul." Oh dear. The great forum of the Macaron Basilica was a desert of ash and bone. For as the virus bombs had dropped, thousands of Istvanians had gathered there in the hope that the Parliament House at one end of the forum would receive them. They had thronged the place and died there, their scorched remains resembling an ancient swamp from which rose the columns that bounded the forum on 3 sides. On the 4th was the Parliament House itself, befouled by black tendrils of ash that reached up from the forum. The building had been the seat of the Coral City's civilian parliament, a counterpart to the nobles who had ruled from the Precentor's palace, but the prominent citizens who had taken shelter inside had died as surely as the horde of civilians outside. Loken pushed through the sea of black bones, his sword ready in his hand as he forged through the thicket of bone. A skull grinned up at him, its burned and empty eye sockets accusing. Behind him, Torgadon covered the forum beyond them. "Wait," said Loken quietly. Torgadon halted and looked around. "Is it them?" "I don't know. Maybe," said Loken, looking up at the Parliament House. Beyond it, he could just see the lines of a spacecraft, a stormbird in Sons of Horus colours. "Someone landed here, that's for sure." They continued onwards to the edge of the Parliament building, climbing the smooth marble steps. Its great doors had been thick-studded oak, but they had been eaten away by the virus and burned to ash by the firestorm. "Shall we?" asked Torgadon. Loken nodded, suddenly wishing they had not come here, as a terrible feeling of doom settled on him. He looked at Torgadon and wished he had some fitting words to say to him before they took these last, fateful steps. Torgadon seemed to understand what he was thinking, and said, "Aye, I know. What choice do we have?" "None," said Loken, marching through the archway and into the Parliament House. The interior of the building had been protected from the worst of the virus bombing and firestorm. Only a few tangled, blackened corpses lying sprawled among the dark wooded panels and furnishings. The walls of the circular building were adorned with faded frescoes of the Coral City's magnificent past, telling the tales of its growth and conquests. The benches and voting tables of the Parliament were arranged around a central stage, with a lectern from which the debates were led. On the stage, in front of the lectern, stood Ezekiel Abaddon and Horus Aximand.
By Yorkshire! There you.
Very much, babe. Appreciate you. Thanks a lot. Cheers, babe. Love you. We've got time for a brew, that. I've got a brew, courtesy of the Slam Queen. Do you know what? I'm gonna go for a quick wee. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Hello, I am back. I am back. Just had a quick wee. We've got a cup of tea for Yorkshire, courtesy of the Slam Queen. Lovely stuff. She's like a fucking mind reader. I was just like, oh, fucking hell. In my head, I was thinking I could really do with a fucking brew as well. I was like, my fucking voice is fucking getting a bit fucking dry and croaky doing all this fucking talking. Yeah. Perfect timing, as always. Alright, babe. Hey? You've not come to scare me. It's good brew, that, babe. Thank you. What are you looking for? Oh, right. Cheers, babe. Love you. Okay. Let's get straight back into it, then. So, a battered and bloody Loken and Torgadon have just walked in to this building, and there, stood on the stage, seemingly waiting for him, is Abaddon and Aximand. Oh God. It's kicking off. Bit more of me brew, hang on. You betrayed us, said Tarvitz, the hurt and disappointment almost too much to bear. You killed your own men and let Eidolon and his warriors into the palace, didn't you? I did, said Lucius, swinging his sword in loops around his body as he loosened his muscles in preparation for the fight Tarvitz knew must come next. And I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Tarvitz circled the edge of the dome, his steps in time with those of the swordsman. He had no illusions as to the outcome of this fight. Lucius was the preeminent blade master of the Legion, perhaps all of the legions. He knew he could not defeat Lucius, but this betrayal demanded retribution. Honor must be satisfied. Why, Lucius? Asked Tarvitz. How can you ask me that, Saul? Demanded Lucius, drawing the circle closer, and step by step, the distance between the two warriors shrank. I am only here thanks to my misplaced acquaintance with you. I know what the Lord Commander and Fabius offered you. How could you turn such an opportunity down? It was an abomination, Lucius, said Tarvitz, knowing he had to keep Lucius talking for as long as he could. To tamper with the gene seed? How can you possibly believe that the Emperor would condone such a thing? The Emperor? Are you so sure he would disapprove? Look at what he did to create the Primarchs. Aren't we the result of genetic manipulation? The experiments Fabius is conducting are the logical next link in that evolutionary chain. We are a superior race, and we must establish that superiority over any lesser beings that stand in our way. Even your fellow warriors, spat Tarvitz, gesturing to the corpses around the dome's circumference with a blade of his sword. Lucius shrugged. Even them. I'm going to rejoin my legion, and they tried to stop me. What choice did I have? Just like you are going to try and stop me. You'll kill me too? Asked Tarvitz. After all the years we fought together.
Don't try and appeal to my sense of fond reminiscences, Saul, warned Lucius. I am better than you, and I am going to achieve great things in the service of my legion. Neither you or any foolish sense of misplaced loyalty are going to stop me. Lucius lifted the blade of his sword and dropped into a fighting crouch as Tarvitz approached him. The dome seemed suddenly silent as the two combatants circled one another, each searching for a weakness in the other's defenses. Tarvitz drew his combat knife in his left hand and reversed the blade, knowing he would need as many blades between him and Lucius as humanly possible. Tarvitz knew there were no more words to be spoken. This could only end in blood. Without warning, he leapt towards Lucius, thrusting with the smaller blade, but even as he attacked, he saw that Lucius had been expecting it. Lucius swayed aside and swept the hilt of his sword down, smashing the knife from his hand. The swordsman ducked as Tarvitz turned on his heel and slashed high with his sword. Tarvitz's blade cut only air, and Lucius hammered his elbow into his side. He danced away, expecting Lucius to land a blow, but the swordsman merely smiled and danced around him lightly on the balls of his feet. Lucius was playing with him, and he felt his anger mount in the face of such mockery. Lucius advanced towards Tarvitz, darting in with the speed of a striking snake to thrust at his stomach. Tarvitz blocked the thrust, rolling his wrists over Lucius's blade and slashing for his neck, but the swordsman had anticipated the move and nimbly dodged the blow. Tarvitz attacked suddenly, his blade a flashing blur of steel that forced Lucius back step by step. Lucius parried a vicious slash aimed at his groin, spinning with a laugh to launch a lightning riposte at his foe. Tarvitz saw the blade cut the air towards him, knowing he was powerless to prevent it landing. He hurled himself back, but felt a red-hot line of agony as the energized edge bit deep into his side. He clamped a hand to his side as blood spilled down his armor, gasping in pain before his armor dispensed stimulants that blocked it. Tarvitz backed away from Lucius, and the swordsman followed with a grin of anticipation. If that's the best you've got, Saul, then you'd best give up now, smirked Lucius. I promise. I'll make it quick.
I was just about to say the same thing, Lucius, gasped Tarvitz, lifting his sword once again. The two warriors clashed once more, their swords shimmering streaks of silver and blue as coruscating sparks spat from their blades. Tarvitz fought with every ounce of courage, strength, and skill he could muster, but he knew it was hopeless. Lucius parried his every attack with ease and casually landed cut after cut on his flesh, enough to draw blood and hurt, but not enough to kill. Blood gathered in the corner of his mouth as he staggered away from yet another wounding blow.
A hit, sniggered Lucius. A palpable hit.
Tarvitz knew he was fighting with the last of his reserves, and the fight could not go on much longer. Soon Lucius would tire of this poor sport and finish him. But perhaps he had held him here for long enough. Had enough, coughed Tarvitz. You don't have to die here. Lucius cocked his head to one side as he advanced towards him and said,
You're serious, aren't you? You actually think you can beat me?
Tarvitz nodded and spat blood. Come and have a go, if you think you can kill me. Lucius leapt forwards to attack, and Tarvitz dropped his sword and leapt to meet him. Surprised by such an obviously suicidal move, Lucius was a fraction of a second too late to dodge Tarvitz's attack. The two warriors clashed in the air, and Tarvitz smashed his fist into the swordsman's face. Lucius turned his head to rob the blow of its force, but Tarvitz gave him no chance to right himself as they fell to the floor, and pistoned his fist into his former comrade's face.
Lucius's sword skittered away and they fought with fists and elbows, knees and feet. At such close quarters, skill with a blade was irrelevant, and Tarvitz let his hate and anger spill out in every thunderous hammer blow he landed. They rolled and grappled like brawling street thugs, Tarvitz punching Lucius with powerful blows that would have killed a mortal man a dozen times over, the swordsman struggling to push Tarvitz clear.
I also remember what Loken taught you the first time he brought you down,
gasped Tarvitz as he saw movement at the edge of the dome.
Understand your foe, and do whatever's necessary to bring him down.
He released his grip on Lucius and rolled clear, pushing himself as far away from the swordsman as he could. Lucius sprang to his feet in an instant, scrambling across the floor to retrieve his weapon.
Now, Solathan!
Shouted Tarvitz.
Kill him! He's betrayed us all!
He watched as Lucius turned towards the dome's entrance, seeing the warriors Solathan had rallied and brought to him. Solathan obeyed Tarvitz's command instantly, as a good emperor's children should, and the dome was suddenly filled with the bark of gunfire. Lucius dived out of the way, but even he wasn't quick enough to avoid a volley of bolter shells. Lucius jerked and danced in the fusillade, sparks and blood flying from his armor. He rolled across the floor, scrabbling for a hole in the wall blasted by the months of battle as the gunfire of the loyalist emperor's children tore into him.
Kill him!
Yelled Tarvitz, but Lucius was faster than he would have believed possible, diving from the dome as shells tore up scorched frescoes around him. Tarvitz pushed himself to his feet and staggered over to where Lucius had escaped. Beyond the dome, the outer precincts of the palace were a nightmarish landscape of craters and blackened ruins. A pall of smoke hung over the battlefield the palace had become, and he smashed his fist into the wall in frustration as he saw that the swordsman had vanished.
Captain Tarvitz, said Solathan. Reporting as ordered.
Tarvitz turned from his search for Lucius, pushing his frustrations aside and focusing on the more immediate matter of counterattacking Eidolon's warriors.
My thanks, Solathan. I owe you my life,
he said. The warriors nodded as Tarvitz picked up a fallen bolter and checked the magazine to make sure he had a full load.
Now come on,
he said grimly.
Let's show these bastards how the real Emperor's children fight.
That's the end of that chapter. We're going into the final chapter now, guys. Fucking hell. Tarvitz nearly had it then. If he hadn't have managed to disarm Lucius then, Lucius would have killed him. There may be, like, you literally might be able to, you probably talking about maybe 3 Space Marines, maybe 3 Astartes in the entire Imperium who could match Lucius in a sword fight. He is the creme de la creme, like, of swordsmen, Lucius. There was no way that Tarvitz was going to beat him. Not in a million years. If he hadn't disarmed him and turned it into a brawl, like, Lucius would have killed him. Because he was just messing around with him. He weren't even, like, he was literally playing with him. So if he hadn't have just managed to get Lucius off guard and get that sword out of his hands and start fighting with him, like, hand to hand, and then Solathan turned up with the rest of the squad, Tarvitz would have had it then, 100%. Fucking Lucius got away as well, little bastard. Little bastard. Little shit. Fucking Lucius. Ooh. Here we are, though. This is it. The end. We're at the end. He is a cocky bastard, though, Lucius. He's a dirty little traitor as well. Dirty little fucking traitor. Fucking turning on your friends, man. Fucking lowest of the low, man. Khan, though. Fucking hell. Loken fucking took Khan out. Khan's no fucking joke as well. And Loken managed to fucking get him fucking stuck on the fucking blades at the front of a tank. And drove off. And drove off with him. Fucking mental, that. But Loken and Torgadon have arrived at the Forum. And Abaddon and Aximand were there waiting for him. We've not found out what happens there yet. It's fucking... This is it. This is it. Here we are. The grand finale. Of the opening trilogy of the Horus Heresy books. Final chapter. Fucking mental. Ooh, what do we think is going to happen? Have we got any guesses in the chat? Obviously, remember, if you do know what happens, don't spoil it in the chat. But for the people who are watching who don't know, what do you think is going to happen in this last chapter? Let's get some predictions in before we move ahead with it. What are we thinking, guys? Oh, that was a banging brew. In one of these rather fetching Slam King brew mugs. Available at the merch store. You want to get your hands on one of them. They come in 2 different colours. You can get them in blue, with the blue logo, or the pink logo. %69% makes your brew taste better. 69% is everyone's favourite number. Nice one, Jeski's fella, dropping that merch link. Chaka, I'm thinking Loken better survive or I will cry. Loken's the boss, isn't he? Should we just get straight into it? Should we just dive straight in? Jacker, mouth to mug, 69%. That's it. That's. Do you know what? I might actually write that on the merch store. All right, let's go. Chaka, you want a figurine of Loken? They do make them. They are very expensive though, because it's Forge World. I'm sure I can find a fucking. Do you know what? Do you know what we could do for a stream? I could build a marine of Loken on my computer and print it off. That might be an interesting stream. Right. here we go. Final chapter. The finale. End game. Let's go. Chapter 17. Winning is survival. Dies irae. The end.
Betrayer,
said Loken, stepping into the Parliament House.
There was nothing to betray,
retorted Abaddon. Even after all that had happened on Isstvan III, the word betrayal had the power to ignite the ever-present anger inside him.
I envy you this, Loken,
continued Abaddon.
To you, the galaxy must seem so simple. So long as there's someone you can call enemy, you'll fight to the death and think you are right.
I know I am right, Ezekiel!
Shouted Loken.
How could this be anything but wrong? The death of this city and the murder of your brothers! What has happened to you, Abaddon, to turn you into this?
Abaddon stepped down off the stage, leaving Aximand to stand alone at the lectern. In his Terminator armor, Abaddon was far taller than Loken, and he knew from witnessing the first captain in battle that he could still fight as skillfully as any Astartes in power armor.
Isstvan III was forced upon us by the inability of small minds to understand reality, said Abaddon. Do you think I have been a part of this, and that I am here because I enjoy killing my brothers? I believe, Loken, as surely you do. There are powers in this galaxy that even the Emperor does not understand. If he leaves humanity to wither on the vine in his selfish quest for godhood, then those powers will swamp us, and every single human being in this galaxy will die. Can you understand the enormity of that concept? The whole human race. The Warmaster does, and that is why he must take the Emperor's place to deal with these threats. Deal with them?
Said Torgadon, shaking his head.
You are a fool, Ezekiel. We saw what Erebus was doing. He's lied to you all. You've made a pact with evil powers.
Evil? Said Aximand. They saved the Warmaster's life. I've seen their power, and it's within the Warmaster's ability to control them. You think we're all fools? That we're blind? The forces of the warp are not the key to this galaxy. That is what the Emperor cannot understand. The Warmaster will be Lord of the Warp as well as of the Imperium, and then will rule the stars.
No,
replied Loken.
Warmaster's become corrupted. If he takes the throne, it will not be humanity that rules the galaxy. It will be something else. You know that, little Horus. Even if Ezekiel doesn't. He doesn't care about the galaxy. He just wants to be on the winning side.
Abaddon smiled, slowly approaching Loken as Torgadon circled towards Horus Aximand.
Winning is survival, Loken. You die, you lose, and nothing you ever believed meant anything. I live, I win, and you might as well have never existed. Victory, Loken. It's the only thing in the galaxy that means anything. You should have spent more time being a soldier. Maybe then you would have ended up on the winning side.
Loken held up his sword, trying to gauge Abaddon's movements.
There's always time to decide who wins.
You could see Abaddon tensing up, ready to strike, and knew that the first captain's taunting was just a cover.
Oh, Loken, you have come so far,
said Abaddon.
And you still don't understand what we're doing here. We're not so far from human that we're not allowed a few mistakes, but to fight us, instead of realizing what the Warmaster is trying to achieve. That's unforgivable.
Then what's your mistake, Hezekiah?
Talking too much, replied Abaddon, launching himself towards Loken with his bladed fist bathed in lethal energies. Torgadon watched as Abaddon charged towards Loken, taking that as his cue to attack little Horus. His former comrade had seen the intent in his eyes and leapt to meet him as Loken and Abaddon smashed apart the pews among the nave. They met in a clatter of battle plate, fighting with all the strength and hatred that only those who were once brothers but are now bitter enemies can muster. They grappled like wrestlers until Aximand flung Torgadon's arms wide and smashed his elbow into his jaw. He fell back, blocked the right cross slashing for his face, and closed with Aximand, cracking an armoured knee into his opponent's midriff. Little Horus stumbled, and Torgadon knew that it would take more than a knee in the guts to halt a warrior such as Aximand. His former brother was powerfully built, his strength, poise, and skill the equal of Torgadon's. The two warriors faced one another, and Torgadon could see a look of regret flash across little Horus's face. "Why are you doing this?" asked Torgadon. "You said you were against us," replied Aximand. "And we are." Both warriors lowered their guards. They were brothers, members of the Mournival who had seen so many battles together that there was no need for posturing. They both knew how the other fought. "Tariq," said Aximand, "if this could have ended another way, we would have taken it. None of us would have chosen this way." "Little Horus, when did you realize how far you'd gone? Was it when the Warmaster told you we were going to be bombed? Or sometime before?" Aximand glanced over to where Loken and Abaddon fought. "You can walk away from this, Tariq. The Warmaster wants Loken dead, but he said nothing about you." Torgadon laughed. "We called you Little Horus because you looked so like him. But we were wrong. Horus never had that doubt in his eyes. You're not sure, Aximand. Maybe you're on the wrong side. Maybe this is the last chance you've got to end your life as a space marine, and not as a slave." Aximand smiled bleakly. "I've seen it, Tariq. The warp. You can't stand against that. And yet here I am. If you had just taken the chance the Lodge gave you, you would have seen it too. They can give us such power. If you only knew, Tariq, you'd join us in a second. The whole future would be laid out before you. You know I can't back down. No more than you can. And this is it. Yes. It is. As you said, none of us would have chosen this." Aximand readied himself. "Just like the practice cages, Tariq?" "No," said Torgadon. "Nothing like that." The energized claw swung at Loken's head, and he ducked. Too late seeing it for the feint it was, Abaddon grabbed him by the edge of his shoulder guard and drove his knee into Loken's stomach. Ceramite buckled, and Loken felt pain knife into him as his bones broke. Abaddon released him and punched him in the face. He was thrown against the wall of the Parliament, scorched plaster and brick falling around him. "The Warmaster wanted me to bring the Justair in, but I told him it was an insult." Loken saw his sword lying on the floor beside him and slid down the wall to grab it. He pushed off the wall, pivoting past Abaddon's slashing fist, swinging the blade towards the first captain's face. Abaddon blocked the blow with his forearm, reaching out to pluck Loken from his feet and hurl him towards the Parliament building's wall. The world spun away from him, and suddenly there was pain. His vision blurred as he smacked into the ground and shards of stone flew up around him. The pain within him felt strange, as if it belonged to someone else. It felt as if his back was broken, and a treacherous voice in his mind whispered that the pain would go away if he just gave up and let it all go away in a fog of oblivion. His grip tightened on his sword, and he let his anger fuel his strength to fight against the voice in his head that told him to give up. A long time ago, Loken had sworn an oath to the Emperor, and that oath was never to give up, even as the moment of death approached. His vision swam back into focus, and he looked up to see the hole in the Parliament House's wall his body had smashed. Loken rolled onto his front as Abaddon's massive armoured form charged towards him, smashing aside the blackened remains of the breach. He scrambled to his feet and backed away, letting Abaddon's fist swing past him. He darted in, stabbing with his sword, but the thick plates of his enemy's armour turned the blade aside. He scrambled back up the steps of the Parliament House, hearing Torgadon and little Horus fighting within, and knowing that he needed his brother's strength to triumph.
You can't run forever!
Roared Abaddon, as he turned to follow him, his steps ponderous and heavy. Saul Tarvitz grinned like a hunter who had finally run his prey to ground. The warriors he and Salathan had led cut a bloody swathe through Eidolon's warriors, killing them without mercy as themselves had been killed so recently. What had once been an attack that threatened to overwhelm them, utterly was now in danger of becoming a rout for the traitors. Gunfire echoed fiercely through the palace as the Loyalists unleashed volley after volley of gunfire at anything that moved. Loyalist Space Marines surrounded Eidolon's assault force and attacked on two fronts. The Lord Commander's force was buckling. Tarvitz could see warriors with missing limbs or massive open wounds struggling in the desperate fight, jostling to get a position where they could kill the traitors who had so nearly overrun them. His own sword reaped a bloody tally as he killed warriors he had once fought with and bled alongside, each sword blow a cruel twist of fate that brought aching sadness as much as it did cathartic satisfaction. He saw Eidolon in the centre of the battle, smashing warriors to ruin with each swing of his hammer, and fought his way through the battle to reach the Lord Commander. His own body ached from the duel with Lucius, but he knew that there was no point in calling for an apothecary. Whatever wounds he was suffering from would never have a chance to heal. It would end here, Tarvitz knew. But it would be a hell of a fight, and he had never felt more proud to lead these brave warriors into battle. To have such noble fighters almost undone by a supposedly loyal comrade's betrayal was a galling, yet somehow fitting end to their struggle. Lucius had very nearly cost them this battle, and Tarvitz swore that if he lived through this hell, he would see the bastard dead once and for all. The Lord Commander was almost within his reach, but no sooner had Eidolon seen him than the traitors began falling back in disciplined ranks. Tarvitz wanted to scream in frustration, but knew better than to simply hurl himself after his foe.
Fire in line across the nave!
Shouted Tarvitz at the top of his voice, and instantly a contingent of Astartes formed up and began firing disciplined volleys of bolter fire at the retreating enemy. He lowered his sword and leaned against the broken wall as he realized that, against all odds, they had held once more. Before he had a moment to savor the unlikeliness of their latest victory, the Vox bead chimed in his ear.
Captain Tarvitz!
Said a voice he recognized as one of the Lunar Wolves.
Tarvitz here,
he said.
This is VP! Vipers, Captain. The position on the roof is sound, but we've got company.
I know, replied Tarvitz. The sons of Horus.
It's worse than that. To the west. Look up,
said Vipers. Tarvitz pushed through the remains of the battle and scanned the sky above the crumbling, smoke-wreathed ruins. Something moved towards the palace, something distant, but utterly huge.
Sweet terror, he said. The Dies Irae.
I'll make the Titan our priority target,
swore Vipers.
No, you can't hurt it. Just kill enemy space marines.
Yes, Captain.
Enemy units!
A voice yelled from near the temple entrance.
Armor and support!
Tarvitz pushed himself from the wall, drawing on his last reserves of energy to once again muster his warriors for the defense of the palace.
Assault units by the doors! All other Astartes fire at will!
Tarvitz could see a huge strike force of enemy forces, boxy land raiders and rhinos massing on the outskirts of the Precentor's palace. Beyond them, sons of Horus, world eaters, and Emperor's children set up fields of fire to surround the temple. The Dies Irae would soon be in range to blast them with its enormous weaponry.
They'll be coming again soon,
shouted Tarvitz.
But we'll see them off again, my brothers! No matter what occurs, they will not forget the fight we've given them here!
Looking at the size of the army arrayed for the final assault, Tarvitz knew that there would be no holding against it. This was the end game. Terminator armor was huge. It made a man into a walking tank. But what it added in protection, it lost in speed. Abaddon was skillful and could fight almost as fast as any other Astartes while clad in its thick plates. But almost wasn't good enough when life or death was at stake. Chunks of rubble spilled into the Parliament House as Abaddon battered his way back inside. The brutal, high-shouldered shape of his Terminator armor wreathed in chalky plaster dust. As Abaddon smashed his way back inside, he passed beneath a sagging portico that supported a vast swathe of sculpted marble statuary above. Loken struck out at one of the cracked pillars supporting the portico, the fluted support smashing apart under the power of the blow. The Parliament filled with dust as the huge slabs above came down on Abaddon, the entire weight of the statuary collapsing on top of the first captain. Loken could hear Abaddon roaring in anger as the stonework thundered down in a flurry of rubble and destruction. He turned away from the avalanche of debris and fought his way through the billowing clouds of dust towards the center of the Parliament building. He saw Torgoden and Horus Aximand upon the central stage. Torgoden was on his knees, blood raining from his body and his limbs shattered. Aximand held his sword upraised, ready to deliver the death blow. He saw what would happen next, even as he screamed at his former brother to stay his hand. Even over the crash of rubble being displaced as Abaddon forced himself free of the collapsed statues, he heard Aximand's words with terrible clarity. "I'm sorry," said Aximand, and the sword slashed down against Torgoden's neck. The plasma bolt was like a finger of the sun, reaching down from the guns of the Dies Irae and smashing through the wall of the Warsinger's temple, the liquid fire boring deep into the ground. With a sound like the city dying, one wall of the temple collapsed as dust and fire filled the air and shards of green stone flew like knives. Warriors melted in the heat blast or died beneath the heaps of stone that collapsed around them. Tarvitz fell to his knees on the winding stairway that climbed to the upper reaches of the temple. A choking mass of burning ash billowed around him, and he fought his way upwards, knowing that hundreds of the last loyalist Space Marines were dead. The sound was appalling. The roar of the collapsing temple stark against the silence of the traitors that surrounded the temple on all sides. A body fell past him. One of the Lunar Wolves, his arm blown off by weapons fire hammering the upper floors. "To the roof!" ordered Tarvitz, not knowing if anyone could hear him over the cacophony of the Titan's guns. "Abandon the nave!" Tarvitz reached the gallery running the length of the temple, finding it crammed with Space Marines. Their Legion colours unrecognisable beneath layers of grime and blood. Such distinctions were irrelevant. Tarvitz realised, for they were one band of brothers fighting for the same cause. Above this level was the roof, and Tarvitz spotted Sergeant Wratherin, a solid line officer and veteran of the murder campaign. "Sergeant!" he yelled. "Report!" Wratherin looked up from the window through which he was aiming his bolter. He had caught a glancing blow to the side of his head and his face streamed with blood. "Not good, Captain," he replied. "We've held them this long, but we won't hold another attack. There's too many of them and that Titan's gonna blow us away any second." Tarvitz nodded and risked a glance through a shattered loophole to the ground far below. Feeling his hate for these traitors, warriors for whom notions of honor and loyalty were non-existent, swell as he saw the multitude of bodies sprawled around the palace. He knew these dead warriors, having led them in battle these last few months, and more than anything, he knew what they represented. They were the galaxy's best soldiers, the saviors of the human race and the chosen of the Emperor. Their lives of heroic service and sacrifice had been ended by brute treachery, and he had never felt so helpless. "No," he said, as resolve filled him. "No, we will not falter." Tarvitz met Wratherin's eyes and said, "The Titan's gonna hit the same corner of the temple again. Higher up. And get the traitors, and the traitors are gonna storm us. Get the men back and make ready for the assault." He knew the traitors were just waiting for the temple to fall, so they could storm in and kill the loyalists at their leisure. This was not just a battle. It was the Warmaster demonstrating his superiority. Massive caliber gunfire thundered from the Dies Irae, an awesome storm of fire and death that smashed the plaza outside the temple, blasting apart loyalists in great columns of fire. Infernal heat battered against the temple, and a hot gale blew through the gallery. "Is that the best you've got?" he yelled in anger. "You'll never kill us all!" His warriors looked at him with savage light in their eyes. The words had sounded hollow in his ears, spoken out of rage rather than bravado, but he saw the effect it had and smiled, remembering that he had a duty to these men. He had a duty to make their last moments mean something. Suddenly, the air ripped apart as the Titan's plasma gun fired, and white heat filled the gallery, throwing Tarvitz to the floor. Molten fragments of stone sprayed him and warriors fell, broken and burning around him. Blinded and deafened, Tarvitz dragged himself away from the destruction. Hot air boomed back into the vacuum blasted by the plasma, and it was like a burning wind of destruction come to scour the loyalists from the face of Isstvan III. He rolled onto his back, seeing that the bolt had ripped right through the temple roof, leaving a huge glowing-edged hole, like a monstrous bite mark through one corner of the temple. Fully a third of the temple's mass had collapsed in a great rock slide of liquefied stone, flooding out like long tongue of jade. Tarvitz tried to shake the ringing from his ears and forced his eyes to focus. Through the miasma of heat, he could hear a war cry arise from the enemy warriors. A similar clamour rose from the other side of the temple, where the World Eaters and the Emperor's children were arrayed among the ruins of the palace. The attack
Who's this midnight pleaser?
was coming. Loken dropped to his knees in horror at the sight of Torgudon's head parting from his shoulders. The blood fountained slowly, the silver sheen of the sword wreathed in a spray of red. He screamed his friend's name, watching as his body crashed to the floor of the stage and smashed the wooden lectern to splinters as it fell. His eyes met those of Horus Aximand, and he saw a sorrow that matched his own echoed in his brother's eyes. His collar surged, hot and urgent, but his anger was not directed at Horus Aximand, but at the warrior who pulled himself from the rubble behind him. He turned, forced himself to his feet, seeing Abaddon pulling himself from under the collapsed portico. The first captain had extricated himself from beneath slabs of marble that would have crushed even an armoured Astartes, but he was still trapped and immobile from the waist down. Loken gave vent to an animal cry of loss and rage and ran towards Abaddon. He leapt, driving a knee down onto Abaddon's arm and pinning it with all his weight and strength to the rubble. Abaddon's free hand reached up and grabbed Loken's wrist as Loken drove his chainsword towards Abaddon's face. The two warriors froze, locked face to face in a battle that would determine who lived and who died. Loken gritted his teeth and forced his arm down against Abaddon's grip. Abaddon looked into Loken's face and saw the hatred and loss there.
"There's hope for you yet, Loken,"
he snarled. Loken forced the roaring point of the sword down with more strength than he thought he could ever inhabit in his body. The betrayal of the Astartes, their very essence, flashed through Loken's mind, and he found the target of his hatred embodied in Abaddon's violent features. The Chainblade's teeth whirred. Abaddon forced the point down and it ripped into his breastplate. Sparks sprayed as Loken pushed the point onwards through thick layers of ceramite. The sword juddered, but Loken kept it true. He knew where it would break through, straight through the bone shield that protected Abaddon's chest cavity, and then into his heart. Even as he savoured the idea of Abaddon's death, the first captain smiled and pushed his hand upwards. Astartes' battle plate enhanced a warrior's strength, but Terminator armor boosted it to levels beyond belief. And Abaddon called upon that power to dislodge Loken. Abaddon surged upwards from the rubble with a roar of anger and slammed his energized fist into Loken's chest. His armor cracked open, and the bone shield protecting his own chest cavity shattered into fragments. He staggered away from Abaddon, managing to keep his feet for a few seconds before his legs gave out and he collapsed to his knees. Blood dribbling from his cracked lips in bloody ropes. Abaddon towered over him, and Loken watched numbly as Horus Aximan joined him. Abaddon's eyes were filled with triumph, Aximan's with regret. Abaddon took the bloody sword from Aximan's hand with a smile.
This sword killed Torgadon, and it seems only fitting that I use it to kill you.
The first captain raised the sword and said,
You had your chance, Loken. Think about that while you die.
Loken met Abaddon's unforgiving gaze, seeing the madness that lurked behind his eyes like a mob of angry demons, and waited for death. But before the blow landed, the Parliament building exploded as something vast and colossal, like a primal god of war bestriding the world, smashed through the back wall. Loken had a fleeting glimpse of a monstrous iron foot, easily the width of the building itself, crashing through the stonework and demolishing the building as it went. He looked up in time to see a mighty red god, towering and immense, striding through the remains of the Coral City, its battlements bristling with weapons and its mighty head twisted in a snarl of merciless anger. Rubble and debris cascaded from the roof as the Dias Irae smashed the Parliament building into a splintered ruin of crushed rock, and Loken smiled as the building collapsed around him. Tremendous impacts smashed the marble floor, and the noise of the building's destruction was like the sweetest music he had ever heard, as he felt the world go black around him. Saul Tarvitz looked around him at the 100 Space Marines crammed into the tiny square of cover that was all that remained of the Warsinger's temple. They had sat, awaiting the final attack of the traitors for what had seemed like an age, but had been no more than 30 minutes. "Why don't they attack?" asked Nero Vipus, one of the few lunar wolves still alive. "I don't know," said Tarvitz. "But whatever the reason, I'm thankful for it." Vipus nodded, his face lined with a sadness that had nothing to do with the final battles of the Precentor's palace. "Still no word from Garviel or Tarek?" asked Tarvitz, already knowing the answer. "No," said Vipus. "Nothing." "I'm sorry, my friend." Vipus shook his head. "No, I won't mourn them. Not yet. They might have succeeded." Tarvitz said nothing, leaving the warrior to his dream, and turned his attention once again to the terrifying scale of the Warmaster's army. 10,000 traitors stood immobile in the ruins of the Coral City. World Eaters chanted alongside the Emperor's children while the sons of Horus and the Death Guard waited in long, firing lines. The colossal form of the Dias Irae had thankfully stopped firing, the monstrous titan marching to tower over the Siren Hold like a brazen fortress. "They want to make sure we're beaten," said Tarvitz. "To plant a flag on our corpses." Yes, agreed Vipus. But we gave them the fight of their lives, did we not?
That we did,
said Tarvitz.
that we did.
And even once we're gone, Garrow will tell the legions of what they've done here. The Emperor will send an army bigger than anything the Great Crusade has ever seen. Vipus looked out over the Warmaster's army and said, well, he'll have to. Abaddon surveyed the ruins of the Parliament House. Its once magnificent structure a heaped pile of shattered stone. His face bled from a dozen cuts, and his skin was an ugly, bruised purple. But he was alive. Beside him, Horus Aximand slumped against a ruined statue. His breathing laboured, and his shoulder twisted at an unnatural angle. Abaddon had pulled them both from the wreckage of the building. But looking at Aximand's downcast face, he knew that they had not escaped without scars of a different kind. But it was done. Loken and Torghadan were dead. He had thought to feel savage joy at the idea, but instead he felt only emptiness. A strange void that yawned in his soul like a vessel that could never be filled. Abaddon dismissed the thought and spoke into the Vox.
Warmaster,
He said,
it is over.
"What have we done, Ezekiel?" whispered Aximand.
What needed to be done?
Said Abaddon.
The Warmaster ordered it and we obeyed.
"They were our brothers," said Aximand, and Abaddon was astonished to find tears spilling down his brother's cheeks.
They were traitors to the Warmaster. Let that be an end to it.
Aximand nodded, but Abaddon could see the seed of doubt take root in his expression. He lifted Aximand and supported him as they made their way towards the waiting Stormbird that would take them from this cursed planet and back to the vengeful spirit. The traitors within the Mournival were dead, but he had not forgotten the look of regret he had seen on Aximand's face. Horus Aximand would need watching, Abaddon decided. The view screen of the Strategium displayed the blackened, barren rock of Isstvan III. Where Isstvan III had once been rich and verdant, Isstvan V had always been a mass of tangled, igneous rock where no life thrived. Once there had been life, but that had been aeons ago, and its only remnants were scattered basalt cities and fortifications. The people of the Coral City had thought these ruins were home to the evil gods of their religion, who waited there, plotting revenge. Perhaps they were right, mused Horus, thinking of Fulgrim and his complement of Emperor's children who were preparing the way for the next phase of his plan. Isstvan III had been the prologue, but Isstvan V would be the most decisive battle the galaxy had ever seen. The thought made Horus smile as he looked up to see Maloghurst limping painfully towards his throne.
What news, Mal?
Asked Horus.
Have all surface units returned to their posts?
I've just heard from the Conqueror,
nodded Maloghurst.
Angron has returned. He is the last.
Horus turned back to the gnarled globe of Isstvan III and said,
Good. It is no surprise to me that he should be the last to quit the battlefield. So, what is the butcher's bill?
We lost a great many in the landings, and more than a few in the palace,
replied Maloghurst.
The Emperor's children and the Death Guard were similarly mauled. The World Eaters lost the most. They're barely above half strength.
You do not think this battle was wise,
said Horus.
You cannot hide that from me, Mal.
The battle was costly,
averred Maloghurst.
And it could have been shortened. If efforts had been made to withdraw the legions before the siege developed, then lives and time could have been saved. We do not have an infinite number of Astartes, and we certainly do not have infinite time. I do not believe there was any great victory to be won here.
You see only the physical cost, Mal,
said Horus.
You do not see the psychological gains we've made. Abaddon was blooded. The real threats among the rebels have been eliminated, and the World Eaters have been brought to a point where they cannot turn back. If there was ever any doubt as to whether this crusade would succeed, it has been banished by what I have achieved on Isstvan III.
Then what are your orders?
Asked Maloghurst. Horus turned back to the view screen and said,
We have tarried here too long, and it is time to move onwards. You are right that I allowed myself to be drawn into a war that we did not have time to fight, but I will rectify that error.
Warmaster?
Bomb the city, said Horus. Wipe it off the face of the planet.
Loken couldn't move his legs. Every heartbeat was agony. In his lungs as the muscles of his chest ground against splinters of bone. He coughed up clots of blood with every breath, and he was sure that each one would be his last as the will to live seeped from his body. Through a crack in the rubble pinning him to the ground, Loken could see the dark grey sky. He saw streaks of fire dropping through the clouds and closed his eyes as he realized that they were the first salvos of an orbital bombardment. Death was raining down on the Coral City for the second time. But this time, it wouldn't be anything as exotic as a virus. High explosives would bring the city down and put a final, terrible exclamation mark at the end of the Battle of Isstvan III. Such a display was typical of the Warmaster. It was a final epitaph that would leave no one in any doubt as to who had won. The first orange blooms of fire burst over the city. The ground shook. Buildings collapsed in waves of fire, and the streets boiled with flame once more. The ground shuddered as though in the grip of an earthquake, and Loken felt his prison of debris shift. Hard spikes of pain buffeted him as flames burst across the remains of the Parliament building. Then darkness fell at last, and Loken felt nothing else. A 100 of Tarvit's loyalists remained. They were the only survivors of their glorious last stand, and he had gathered them in the remains of the Warsinger's temple. Sons of Horus, Emperor's children, and even a few lost-looking world-eaters. Tarvitz noticed that there were no Death Guard in their numbers, thinking that perhaps a few had survived Mortarian's scouring of the trenches, but knowing that they might as well have been on the other side of Isstvan III. This was the end. They all knew it, but none of them would give voice to that fact. He knew all their names now. Before, they had just been grime-streaked faces among the endless days and nights of battle. But now, they were brothers, men he would die with, in honor. Flashes of explosions bloomed in the city's north. Shooting stars punched through the dark clouds overhead, scorching holes through which the glimmering stars could be seen. The stars shone down on the coral city in time to watch the city die.
"Did we hurt them, Captain?" asked Solathan. "Did this mean anything?"
Tarvitz thought for a moment before replying.
"Yes,"
he said.
"We hurt them here. They'll remember this."
A bomb slammed into the Precentor's palace, finally blasting what little remained of its great stone flower into flame and shards of granite. The Loyalists did not throw themselves into cover or run for shelter. There was little point. The Warmaster was bombarding the city, and he was thorough. He would not let them slip away a second time. Towers of flame bloomed all across the palace, closing in on them with fiery inevitability. The battle for the Coral City was over. The temple was nearly complete, its high, arched ceiling like a ribcage of black stone beneath which the officers of the new crusade were gathered. Angron still fumed at the decision to leave Isstvan III before the destruction of the Loyalists was complete, while Mortarion was silent and sullen, his death guard like a steel barrier between him and the rest of the gathering. Lord Commander Eidolon, still smarting from the failures his legion had committed in the eyes of the Warmaster, had several squads of Emperor's children accompanying him, but his presence was not welcomed, merely tolerated. Maloghurst, Abaddon, and Aximand represented the sons of Horus, and beside them stood Erebus. The Warmaster stood before the temple's altar, its four faces representing what Erebus called the four faces of the gods. Above him, a huge holographic image of Isstvan V dominated the temple. An area known as the Urgal Depression was highlighted, a giant crater overlooked by the fortress that Fulgrim had prepared for the Warmaster's forces. Blue blips indicated likely landing sites, routes of attack and retreat. Horus had spent the last hour explaining the details of the operation to his commanders, and he was coming to an end.
At this very moment, 7 legions are coming to destroy us. They will find us at Isstvan III, and the battle will be great. But in truth, it will not be a battle at all, for we have achieved much since we last gathered. Chaplain Erebus, enlighten us as to matters beyond Isstvan.
All goes well at Signum, my lord, said Erebus, stepping forward. New tattoos had been inked on his scalp, echoing the sigils carved into the stones of the temple. Sanguinius and the Blood Angels will not trouble us. And Corferon sends word that the Ultramarines muster at Calth. They suspect nothing, and will not be in a position to lend their strength to the loyalist force. Our allies outnumber our enemies.
Then it is done, said Horus. The backs of the Emperor's legions will be broken at Isstvan V.
And what then? Asked Aximand. A strange melancholy had settled upon Horus Aximand since the battles of the Coral City, and he saw Abaddon cast a wary glance in his brother's direction. When is our trap sprung? Demanded Aximand. The Emperor will still reign and the Imperium will still answer to him. After Isstvan V, what then?
Then, little Horus,
said the Warmaster.
Then, we strike for terror.
The end. There we go, guys. That's the end. That is the end of Galaxy in Flames. That is the end of the Battle of Isstvan III. And sadly, that is the end of Vipus, Tarvitz, Torgadon, and Loken. I'm sorry, guys. It's brutal, innit? They all died. All of them died. All of the main characters died at the Battle of Isstvan. But they died heroes. They died heroes. They knew that they couldn't. They knew that they couldn't stand. They knew that it was never going to be a battle that they could win. They knew that from the off. But all they wanted to do was basically hold for as long as they could and take as many of the traitors out as they could. They were basically playing for time. This battle went on for months. This went on for months and months and months. They were basically trying to give Nathaniel Garrow, time to get somewhere and send out word of what Horus has done. This whole thing was just a battle for time. Chaka, your favorite song from the Warhammer playlist, was that about this fight? No. No, that's about something else. That's about something else. That's something that genuinely, like, for real made me actually cry. That's not yet. So that's something else that you've all got to look forward to. Jeski's fella, even knowing what was gonna happen, it doesn't mean it hurts any less. Snow, I know, man, I'm hurting too. It never gets easier. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. Aximand killing fucking Targaryen, though. Cutting his head off, decapitating him. Motherfucker. Motherfucker, man. And then feeling all sad about it later. It's like, fuck you, Aximand. Fuck right off, mate. You don't get to feel sad about this. You just killed one of the best characters in it. For what? Because you're a prick. Well done. Well done, mate. Chaka. Chaka, in my mind, Loken will resurrect. I'm not ready to lose him. I'm sorry. I knew it was gonna happen the whole way as well. And I'm like, every week you've been like, if Loken dies, I'm gonna be so sad. And in my head, I'm just like, oh no. I was like, oh no. It's fucking awful. Targaryen dying's like, that's a brutal one as well, man. Targaryen and Loken and Tarvitz. And poor Nero as well. Nero's always been a G. Do you know what I mean? And Nero gets it as well. Fucking shit. Horus just bombing it all at the end. He's just like, yeah, whatever, fuck him. He's such a bitch. But Snow, I felt so bad for everyone here who talked about Loken love, knowing what was coming. I know, it's so bad. But I couldn't spoil it, though. I didn't want to spoil it. I didn't want to spoil it. I didn't want it to be spoiled. And Targaryen, though. Targaryen hits hard, man. Targaryen hits hard. Do you know what I mean? Because he's killed by... He's personally killed by one of his brothers. Do you know what I mean? Which is like, horrible. It's fucking horrible. I mean, at least Loken didn't get killed by Abaddon. Do you know what I mean? He got killed by the bombing. Like, at least he didn't get killed by Abaddon. Do you know what I mean? I mean, he pretty much did. Like, there was no way he was ever winning that fight. Abaddon's the first captain for a fucking reason. And the fact that he was wearing fucking Terminator armor. It's like trying to punch a tank. Like, you can't, like, do you know what I mean? You're not going to get through that. Nosset, did Loken die? Like, for sure, or did they end the scene after he got his shit kicked in? No, So, what happened was, he had a fight with Abaddon. And then, he kind of got the upper hand when Abaddon's legs were trapped under rubble. Well, then when Abaddon just forced his way out of the rubble, he fucking, like, smashed him in the fucking chest with a power fist. And just completely caved his chest in. So he was fucked. He couldn't even move. And then Loken drops to his knees. Aximand comes over with the sword that he's just decapitated Targaryen with and gives it to Abaddon. And Abaddon says, well,
this sword is the sword that just killed Torgadon. So it seems only fitting that it be the sword that I used to kill you. And just as he's about to deliver the death blow, the Dias Irae Titan, like, smashes through the building on its way, you know, walking to the Coral City, where Tarvitz and Vipus are. And it just smashes through the building, which buries Abaddon, Loken, and Aximand in the rubble. And when that's passed, Abaddon manages to drag Aximand out of the rubble, and then they fuck off back to the vengeful spirit. And Loken wakes up just in time to watch the bombs come down and obliterate everything on the planet. So he's survived the building collapsing down on him, only to wake up to see the bombs coming down, which that's what's killed him. Yeah. So, and then they're the same bombs that killed Saul Tarvitz and Nero Vipus as well. Nah, he's good, I'm sure. But yeah, they're the heroes of Isstvan III, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? They fought until the bitter end. And it was never about surviving. It was just about buying time. It was about holding the traitors there long enough that hopefully Garrow, because if you remember, Garrow picked up Ollerton, Cinderman, and Keeler and escaped the Isstvan system, didn't he? So he picked them up. And he's like desperately rushing to get to some loyalists and tell them what's happened here. So that was what it was about. The whole thing of them like holding them and fighting till the bitter end. It was a last stand. They all knew they were gonna die. They all knew they were gonna die, but it was just about holding them for as long as they could to give Garrow as much time as possible to get word to the Emperor. Or one of the other loyal Primarchs. Or anyone to get word out to the Imperium to let them know what Horus has done. Nossa, I hope Erebus and Abaddon get Steaglades. Well, there we go. We have completed the first 3 books, the trilogy, the opening trilogy of the Horus Heresy. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I know we've lost some amazing characters on the way. But I really, really, really do. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed reading it to you.
All Queechy. All Queechy.
King Snow. Is it really Cinderman or is it the Steagle? I love that those two have the same voice. I thought the Steagle had more of a Torgadon voice. I thought, like, when I was reading Steve's story the other day, and I was doing the Steagle's voice, I was like, why does he sound like fucking Torgadon? Chaka, I wonder if Space Marines have wieners. I think they do. They can't have children though. I know that. I know they can't reproduce. They become sterile. Snow. According to some people on the internet, they do. According to Tumblr, they do.
according to fucking Tumblr they do. Jesus Christ. I'm never fucking going into that fucking rabbit hole ever again. Chaka, really enjoyed it. I can't say it enough. Your reading skills are so good. I stumble over, oh, thank you. I stumble over a few words. But that's because it's live. It's live, innit? And I'm reading with one eye. Nosset, your pissed off Loken voice was phenomenal. that was quite hard, you know. That was quite hard, that, to try and shout in a different voice. Do you know what I mean? Because I was trying to shout in the voice that I've given Loken, which was really fucking weird. Like, really weird. Like... Martin, is it the right time to ask now? What? Yeah, of course, yeah. What are the next few books? Is it the ones at the back of this one? Need to get them ordered for next week. Well, I think the next book stream won't be next. It'll be a week. The week after next Wednesday. Because that way it'll get... If anyone wants to order the book, it'll give them 2 weeks. Do you know what I mean? And plus, it means we can do the Sharks and Minnows stream next week, hopefully, if I can get childcare. So, the next book, I believe, is... Flight of the Eisenstein. Yes. The next one will be Flight of the Eisenstein. I'll read the little blurb that it says for it. The Flight of the Eisenstein by James Swallow. Having witnessed the terrible massacre on Isstvan III, Death Guard Captain Garrow seizes a ship and sets a course for Terra to warn the Emperor of Horus's treachery. So the next book that we'll read is The Flight of the Eisenstein, and that follows Garrow, who we were just talking about before. So this entire battle, the Battle of Isstvan III, the last stand of Tarvitz, Loken, and Torgadon, the whole thing was to hold Horus's forces for long enough so that Garrow could get to Terra and warn the Emperor. So in the next book, The Flight of the Eisenstein, we're going to find out whether Garrow makes it. And makes it in time. If he does make it, does he make it in time? Or was Loken, Tarvitz, and Torgadon's sacrifice in vain? Most hated, unloved. Gave the characters to life. Oh, thanks. Thank you so much. Chaka, you read it in such a way you get totally sucked into the story. Good, because I'm sucked into the story as well. Even though I know it all, I love it so much. It's probably my favorite story. Like, my favorite actual story. Getting caught up in my tubes and my wires. Yeah, it's probably my favorite story. Like, book-wise. Just everything about it's just... It's all me. Do you know what I mean? I just love it so much. Chaka, I need a new favorite character now. Oh, there'll be plenty more, don't you worry. Snow, I'll never forget when you were doing Keela's voice and stayed in it while you said you were going to take a drink. At least it weren't fucking Abaddon's.
I'm going to take a drink now. Just let me wet my whistle.
So, guys, is that how you thought it would end? Is that how you thought it would go? Or did you actually think some of them would survive? Did you think all of them were going to die? Fake Bark, been here doing a supportive lurk this whole stream. Oh, amazing. Now I'm gonna do a lurking goodbye. Oh, cheers, Fake Bark. I appreciate you. Cheers for hanging out. I appreciate it, Fake Bark. Massive love. Nosset, the vibe is Loken is fine. Shit. Fake Bark, love you all. Catch you in the Discord. I knew Loken would die just because he was too good for that world. That is said beautifully, that Fake Bark. What a beautiful sentiment about our dearly departed Loken. The hero of Isstvan III. There was many heroes of Isstvan III. Chaka, I really hoped Loken would live. I know. It sucks, but he succeeded in what he was trying to do. He obviously didn't succeed in killing fucking Abaddon, but they didn't have to do that. Targadon and Loken, they didn't have to do that, but they wanted to. Because they'd already held out for as long as they could, and they knew what was coming. But they were just like, fuck it. Like, this is personal. Do you know what I mean? And I respect that. Like, do you know what I mean? That was personal. They could have just stayed with Tarvitz and Vipus. And just stayed there and fought until the end. But they wanted Aximand and Abaddon. And I fucking respect the balls off that. Like, do you know what I mean? Snow, let's not forget our boy Saul, may he rest in peace. Absolute legend, Saul Tarvitz. Absolute fucking legend. None of them would even know what was happening if it weren't for Saul Tarvitz. Garrow wouldn't be on his way to fucking try and warn the Emperor of Horus's betrayal if it wasn't for Saul Tarvitz. We can never forget Saul Tarvitz. Lamb, how's it going? Hey, Lamb, how are you doing? I'm great, mate. We're all currently mourning. We're in mourning at the moment. No spoilers, remember, if you know any spoilers. But we've got everybody in mourning at the moment at the loss of our friends on Isstvan III. We've just finished Galaxy in Flames. What an ending. What an ending. What a fucking ending. Snow, I think we need to add fuck Lucius to the fuck Erebus movement. Yes, we absolutely do. Fuck Lucius and fuck Jonah as well. Fuck Aruken. Fuck Jonah Aruken, the piece of shit. I've not forgot about that. But definitely fuck Lucius. What a piece of shit he is as well. Unbelievable. Just fucking treachery from all sides. Fucking stinks, man. It's the lowest of the low, man. It's the lowest of the low. Dirty, dirty bastards. Snow, dickhead killed his best friend for a promotion. What a rat. For a potential promotion as well. Like, not even like, oh, kill him and you'll definitely get a promotion. Just like, oh, the potential of a promotion. What they should have done was killed that fucking Princeps Tournay and took control of the fucking Titan. That's what they should have done. Pussies. Pussy. Pussy, pussy, pussy. Yeah. Fuck Aruken. Fuck Lucius. Fuck Erebus. And fuck Abaddon. And fuck Aximand as well. Fucking killing my boy Torg. Fucking outrageous. Fucking bollocks that was. Absolute fucking bollocks. Snow, as a matter of fact, fuck them all. So now, not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after, we'll start Flight of the Eisenstein and we'll pick up
with Garrow. And who's with Garrow? Eacton Cruz, Cinderman, Mercedes Ollerton, and Euphrates Keeler. Can they get to the Emperor in time? Was Loken's sacrifice worth it? That's what we'll find out in that book. So, exciting. Fucking exciting. But yeah, that won't be next week. We'll do the Shark. Hopefully we'll do the Sharks and Minnows stream next Wednesday. And we'll start the Flight of the Eisenstein next week. The weekend. The Wednesday after. Right, guys. I am going to call it a night right there. And I will be back tomorrow at 6:30, 7 o'clock for Thursday Night Terror. There's going to be a horror stream tomorrow. So that'll be fun. So make sure you guys tune in for that. That'll be fucking sick. We'll play some more short-form horror games. And I've got new internet now. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully there won't be any weird glitches or anything like that. There was some strange shit going on last week. That was weird. Some weird glitches in the system. Do you know what I mean? Gore Crusher, give us a message about those ideas you had, mate. Yeah, I will do. I will. I'll send you a message after the stream. Before I go and get myself into bed. Don't summon Gale. Gale has possessed he's possessed my stream. Right, guys, I am going to bounce. If you are new to the channel and you haven't yet joined our Discord, please join our Discord. We have the most wonderful community. Everyone there is so super cool and super nice. So please click that link, join our Discord, introduce yourself, make a shitload of new friends, and take a look around, explore our little community, because it's full of the best people on the internet. The best people. So I am going to say goodnight now, because I am a tired boy. But like I said, I'll be back on tomorrow. I will speak to you all in the Discord. And then tomorrow, we shall get stuck into some Thursday Night Terror. So from me, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you so much for the subs and the gift subs. We've hit that fucking sub goal for this month. So we are going to play Sharks and Minnows with the Slam Queen. You guys are fucking awesome. I appreciate you all so much. Like, honestly, your love and support enables me to do this thing that I love fucking doing. And I'll never ever be able to thank you enough. So, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I love you all to bits. I'll speak to you in the Discord. And I'll see you tomorrow night for Thursday Night Terror. Alright, my beautiful Queechlings. Peace and fucking love. May the Emperor bless you all.